settles. The dust is very much active right now still. So there's some bills that could potentially affect the city that we'll probably have discussions about in the near future, depending on how everything ends up. There's going to be a lot of discussion about the parkway. I had a specific item related to funding. So as you know, UDOT approved $6.5 million additional for the project. We have 4.6 million remaining in the account. There's not, JP doesn't have a lot of active work right now, so it hasn't been urgent to get that money transferred, but we did receive instruction on how to move forward with that. So we're actively doing that. And we anticipate moving forward with that within the next couple of weeks. It should land.
So those two get combined?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Makes 11, right?
Real close.
15.
Joey's gonna make up the difference here.
That's all I have to report.
That's it?
Yep.
All right, we're gonna move into our public forum portion of the meeting. If anybody from the public like to get up, they have 3 minutes to state their name and anything they want to talk about that's not on the agenda.
I guess that's me.
Yep.
My name is Judy Johnston. I live at 1501 South Choya. We're the first house on the right in the neighborhood. And we've been there 6.5 years. When we first moved in, we had taken the old lights down, cleaned them up, and put new light bulbs in. And then we received a letter a few months later saying that we were breaking the dark sky ordinance. And so we took 2 of the 3 light bulbs out. And over the last several months, the city has come in and fixed some of the street lights, one namely right across the street from us by the first set of mailboxes, and then another light, 2 lights farther down, one around the curve, and then another one farther down. As much as we love to have lights, they're extremely bright. And so, I was going to have 3 more people come with me this evening to discuss the concern about the lights, because my house lights would have been nothing in comparison to the brightness of the lights. Yes, I agree that we need the lights there for safety. The very first one on the corner coming into the subdivision on the left is an amber color. The one just past it by the mailboxes is, I don't know if they replaced it with a higher wattage LED light, but our bedroom is right there and we have shades. But if you wake up at 3:00 in the morning, you think the sun is already up. It's extremely bright and very bothersome coming into windows. We don't want to have to buy room darkening because we love the sunshine, but it has been very much a concern in all of Choya Creek with the brightness of the lights, and that we feel like it's in violation of the dark sky ordinance that was put upon us. So.
All right.
How long was that? How long has it been since they changed the lights?
It's probably been 5-6 months, and probably about 6 months, because I called the city office after they replaced it, and I was like, oh, wow, like this is super bright.
Super bright.
And so then I did call, and others of our neighborhood had called. And so we felt like the next move of action would be to attend the city council meeting.
Perfect. Well,
So-
thank you for the information.
Thank you.
All right, we'll look into it. Thank you.
Those are Rocky Mountain Power?
No, those are actually ours.
Yeah.
We do. Didn't we buy one of them things to check the lumens and all that to make sure?
Oh, I
I think we had one.
meter.
We're in the process of doing that.
Yeah.
Are they, so we need to make sure they're not too blue, the temperature and the,
Temperature, the
amount of
other
light.
things, yeah. I
Okay.
was not aware that there was an issue.
And there's a couple ways to address it. So
Yeah.
shielding, which is from the manufacturer, is available, and we can also actually just turn them down.
Perfect.
Turn down.
What's, yeah.
We'll look at it.
Okay. Thank you for bringing that to us. Yep. All right. Okay. Anybody else from the public want to sneak in real quick while we're, all right, we're going to close our public forum and move on to our business item. Thank you. All right. Item 1, discussion of Tocqueville Parkway project. Bob, I guess this is for you. What do we
guess
what do we
so.
want to talk about? Give us the rundown and the skinny, how we're doing and all the good stuff.
Great, it's ready to open.
We
promise
wish.
someday I'll
cutting
come with that
ceremony
news,
to-
right?
Ribbon cutting ceremony tomorrow, Mayor.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk power line first, real quick. Let's just jump in the power line. I've seen the vaults are in. We've gone through by the cemetery. We have a date. Hopefully March 17th.
So the power?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's really on that is Rocky Mountain Power says that they will have that lit up by the 17th.
And when will they take the other lines down?
That should be at the same time.
Okay.
They're trying to get that, I'm trying to get TDS off of the pole and the span as well. We'd like to do it the same night or day or whenever they do it. But their project is formulated and drawn and designed to take those poles down as well as pull the wires off. They'll be bringing the power line that goes down into Choya Creek. That's going to be removed as well. So there's a few moving elements there. Then the Litchfield house that is the first one on the parkway on the right, that has to feed up from the bottom. So that's all part of that same process. So there's two or three different moving parts of the whole deal.
And that's on that part. They're also going to do up the parkway also the same.
Yes.
So you got that, the Litchfield,
So-
Choya Creek, and our cemetery.
And I've been told that there could be 2 outages. One that will take the power line up to the new pump house as well. And then another one when they actually bring that power line off the span.
Okay.
And-
So we can't get it done the same night. I was just hoping.
They said there's a possibility, but that's a time frame to do it and get that much infrastructure.
Oh, yeah, it's a lot of moving.
It's, you're almost 2.5 miles going up to the pumps. And then you've got another probably good mile almost of going from the Choya Creek entrance up across the field and then back up.
Did they get the conduit and Breakerhoff Lane? Is that all that fixed and corrected? I know we crushed some.
Brinkerhoff Lane.
Bringhurst. not Bringhurst.
Yes, they
Bringhurst.
did. The contractor so they've actually got lines pulled through that right now.
Okay.
They've got most of the infrastructure pulled into the conduits and those vaults. They've been moving super fast. Kudos to Rocky Mountain. I've seen them move faster than I've seen them for a long time.
Yeah. Awesome.
But it's been a joint
Sure.
venture
Yeah.
for 2 years. It's not just happened in the last 5-6 months.
So they had power outage today, Choya and TRE.
Did they?
Yeah, we had it from about 9 to 4.
Yeah, they said they're
So-
gonna have some intermittent little.
So this was a full 9 to 4. We were notified of it, that it was
Yeah.
gonna happen. So we're looking at, those areas, we're looking at 1 or 2 more, you're saying?
Well, I don't know if you guys
It
got
might be, that might have been one of them. I
for
don't
you
know.
guys. I don't know why you would have.
It was 269 homes and it was Choya and
Yeah.
TRE.
I-
So,
It's probably
or
because
169, whatever it was.
it's probably where they're tying in the substation, and I can't speak for them.
Yeah.
Right.
That substation coming up Bringhurst Lane, it was probably tying you guys into that, getting you off of whatever
Okay.
relay switch.
Yeah, so no, I'm just asking so the residents know to expect 1 or 2 more.
There
possibly?
probably could be 1 or 2 more,
Okay.
is what the Rocky Mountain Power representative has been telling me.
Okay.
So on the 17th, it's just one button they push and everything.
Well, they're just saying that by the 17th, they'll have
Okay.
it.
We don't have an exact date.
They
It's just-
might, I don't know, they might have it the weekend before the 17th, I doubt it, but they're saying that
Okay.
we can start pulling water up to the tank by the 17th.
Okay.
That's
Great.
all they've committed to.
Okay, so that's the power, that's part of the power. The vaults coming up the hill on the parkway, they've all been moved and
Yes.
relocated and that's all done.
Yeah, that's on your agenda tonight.
Perfect. That's on one of the tie-in changes. Yep, the
Yeah.
number 3. And then how's our sand pocket coming?
So the work that was outlined in the change order has been completed. We had a representative from the UDOT Geotech group came and looked at it last week. And he's asked, I think, 4 questions of the geotech consultant. And so they're in the process of getting those answered.
Okay.
They're concerned about the overhang that's kind of left there. which I think we all are a little bit concerned about. And so I think there'll be a little bit more work that's done there to address that. And I don't know, I mean, ultimately, I think the UDOT group will have a say in how that gets handled.
They're worried about it just breaking off. And that's that's lava cap or what is
Yeah,
that?
that
Is
some
it-
of that cemented soil and the lava
Yeah.
on top of it.
Okay.
So
You can't really get to it from the top anyway, so it's got to be kind of come up from the
Reached up from
bottom.
the bottom and
Yeah.
then brought it down.
That's a big reach.
It's chasing, the hardest thing there is probably chasing the slope back.
Exactly.
You know, it's just such a steep
Steep.
slope already. So
Hmm.
it could get bigger and bigger.
Okay. Okay.
So I had a meeting, I don't know how much you want me to go into this, but we had an executive stakeholder meeting, I think is what Scott McCall calls it, with UDOT, and Joey was
Joe was
there.
there. Yeah, that was a week ago.
Yeah.
Thursday. Yeah.
And we one of the things that UDOT had asked me to do is to get together with the geotech consultant with AGC and with the UDOT geotech group to try to get our remaining issues resolved. And so I met with Jim Nordquist and Ari Mentalov from those two groups yesterday. Jim has submitted reports and it was approved for the sand pocket. He submitted the one for the north slope and also for the south slope. What the UDOT geotech group does is they send back a spreadsheet with any questions or comments that they have. And then it's the responsibility of the consultant to address those comments, whether it just be on the spreadsheet or if there's an action that needs to be taken. So Jim had responded to that one time, and then Ari hadn't responded back. So he did that last week. So we kind of talked about some of those comments. Jim hadn't gone through them, so he asked for some time to look through that. And he said he would get back with Ari this
Okay.
week.
Are the concerns on the north slope, or are they on some stuff previously built, or
There's some concerns with each one of them.
okay.
So on the sound pocket, there's 3 or 4 questions about construction. On the north slope, it was mostly some language that they wanted changed because the report addresses leaving that power pole in place. So there's some changes that need to be made. On the south slope, most of the questions are about what's in the report. And then there were questions about the steepening of the slopes on the east and west end that they just want to know what the approach is there. So hopefully those two are working them out. We've scheduled a follow-up meeting on the 18th. So a week from,
Okay. So yes, my biggest concern is that once we get the power down,
Yeah.
can we start immediately? Can JP start on the north slope?
yeah. And ultimately, Brett Anderson, who's the UDOT PM, he's going to wait. He's waiting for the UDOT geotech group to say what we have
like the
works.
plan.
And
Okay.
then Brett will approve the change orders that will allow JP to go to work.
Okay.
So we're hoping sooner, but at the very least on that meeting on the 18th to have that resolved so the RE can give that recommendation.
All right. You guys have any questions on Parkway project up to this point?
I don't, because
Okay.
I'm sitting in all the meetings. So I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's the elevation changes for the T intersection gonna look
On
on
which
the south end, once it gets all tied in?
it's gonna look kind of,
The elevation coming
It's pretty much all right.
south, it's there, but it's still a little bit of a drop, right?
And there's gonna-
Yeah, so south of there'll be some raising that happens. And then, we'll move over onto the new road and then that will all be cleaned up, the Toker Boulevard.
that
And that'll,
twist
all
part.
that asphalt will come out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, the old bottom of the twist will be gone.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
Make more room for the river.
Yeah,
yeah.
right.
Don't say. Okay. Ben, do you have any discussion on the Parkway? Darren, are we, I'm just, it's a discussion.
So we
This
are,
item number one.
just so you know too, that I forgot, I should have said this, progress on the actual getting the additional 4-lane build out design from
From civil
property
science.
owners.
Yeah.
Property owners, the consultant civil science has got an exhibit that we're getting ready to present to the
Okay.
property owners and show, and they did take in, design, one of those was retaining walls.
Oh, good,
So
good.
Yep. So we're gonna be trying to reach out to the property owners.
All right, that's.
And I will plan on being here to the first city council meeting of each month. I
Okay.
apologize that I missed last month, but
Very good.
and anyone on city council, if they have questions or you want to come out and, I'll drive the project, any of that things, I'm always available. I'm more than happy to talk to you. At the end of the day, I work for you guys, so I want to make sure that you guys know what's going on. And, if you have questions, that I can do my best to answer them.
Perfect.
So,
What's the proposed speed limit?
50.
50?
Yeah.
The whole way
The
through?
plans show 50.
All the way through?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then there's no plan right now for any signals other than the one at Sapp Brothers, right?
Yeah.
Or additional, it'll be a straight thoroughfare. And then the collector streets coming off of
Stop signs.
existing, it'll all be stop signs.
Yeah.
Until we get more
Right.
build out,
Right,
2 more lanes and
okay,
Yeah.
yeah, it's going to be a while.
okay.
Yeah.
And at the south end, it'll be straight on through and it'll be a stop sign for the traffic coming out of town
Correct.
to the south end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Toker Boulevard will have a
Yeah.
hard stop sign.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if anybody ever wants to see we've got some exhibits that show those
Yeah,
lines and
right.
the lanes and such and how that's,
And there'll be accelerator lanes coming off of Toker Boulevard?
in one direction.
Safe, turn lane.
Turning
and then-
left
so
and
if you're
left to
turning-
go
If you
toward,
turn left, there'll be the turn pockets, yes.
so accelerator lane or a turn
Yeah,
pocket or something,
yeah.
okay. Same coming out of,
Turning right, no.
right,
You
correct,
will not have an acceleration lane.
right. But turning left you would. And coming out of TRE also?
TRE, you'll have what they, we could pull it up and look at it. I think so.
Okay,
I think it's gonna be the same thing you've got right now, right there, because it all stops.
I
at the
can't
north-
remember
all-
what it
all the
was.
All the tie-in stops at the north end of TRE's entrance.
right.
Yeah, so it's going to
So,
stay pretty much
It'll
the
stay
same.
the same as what it always has.
Turn lane and your,
Can't remember what it was this
I
time.
know.
Just
All the
kidding.
cones, all the
been
cones
so
away.
long.
it's so long.
You gotta go move the cones out of the way and sweep up the dirt. Yeah.
All right. Okay, we're going to move on to item F2, discuss as possible action on change order number 15 for the Parkway temporary north tie-in. So, you guys have any questions on this? Bob's here if you want to ask him any questions.
Nope.
Okay, that makes it easy. You just need a motion.
Wait 1 sec. Number 15 is which one?
Number 15 is the
It's
north tie-in,
tie-in.
the temporary north tie-in.
It's the access to fire
Number
lane
2, okay.
temporary.
Gotcha.
So it'll have all that, it'll include that traffic control that we were talking about earlier, as well as pavement.
I had the amount here in front of me just a minute ago and I can't find it now.
It's 160 or 126,000, 479,090 cents.
479.90.
Yep.
126,479. Okay. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the change order number 15 for up to but not to exceed 130,000.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this item? I'd like to do a roll call vote. We'll start off with Gary on Zoom, then we'll go to Chuck.
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Motion carries. All right, we're going to move to item F3, discuss some possible action on change order number 17 for the relocation of power vaults out of the clear zone. We talked about that briefly a minute ago. That's the vaults were put in the wrong place the first time. We've got them corrected and fixed and moved. So, and you have a total there? Any questions?
So do we just need to do we need to approve that whole expenditure? For the 71,000 or do we need to approve half of
Half
that?
of it.
Half of that.
Yeah.
So,
Because we're splitting that with the developer,
yeah, so
correct?
Mayor, I would make a motion to approve change order number 17 for up to 37,000.
35, 8, 51, 51.
So we'll say 36,000 up to but not to exceed.
That was a second, Chuck? All right, we have a,
That's I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, no, go ahead.
That's our half, right?
Yeah.
That's our half, okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yes, that's the half. Okay. So any discussion on this other than the half discussion?
And just a reminder, this is a project cost. There has been
Right.
discussion as to, who was responsible.
Yeah.
This
It's-
is definitely
it's
coming out
just-
of the project
Yes,
funding.
it's Tocqueville City is,
not
it's not coming out of a general fund. it's
Not
coming out of the-
Tocqueville's money.
Yes, coming out of the fund, the highway fund. Okay. All right, we're gonna have a roll call vote again. We'll start with you, Gary, and then we're gonna go to Joey.
Aye.
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 All right.
All right, motion carries. Thank you very much. All right, discussion on number 4 is just the adopting the water conservation plan. Have you guys had a chance to look at that? This is discussion only. Any questions? Any concerns? Water's always a concern.
We saw this last year, right?
Yeah.
We adopt this every year by resolution?
So last year, it was likely presented when, so this was Sunrise completed this project. It was likely presented in a council meeting, was not adopted. It included some, so they use a 3-year rolling period for the conservation targets. 2021, there were some like reading errors or something. And so we requested that Sunrise actually go back now that we had another complete year and update it with more current information so it's more relevant. And it did show, just like I talked about earlier, that decline in usage, and part of that was tied to a population estimate that they used. I think they're using like 2,800 instead of, but ultimately, usage has remained pretty flat. It has been discussed, not yet adopted, and it requires a public hearing. So we'll be putting that in front of the council again. So this is kind of a second
Discussion,
opportunity
yeah.
to discuss.
Yeah. I didn't see anything in there, really drastic that we weren't aware of or changed from
Yeah,
last
from
year.
the same stuff we've looked at
Yeah.
previously. Yeah, I saw the same. So,
Surprised I remember it from last year.
yeah, it's amazing, huh?
I have a question.
Chuck, or Gary, sorry, Gary, go ahead.
When I look at a contract, I looked at every single word on the contract. When I look at this, I don't feel like I agree with every single word in this survey. So I don't know whether I need to treat it as if we're going to follow this thing and accept everything that's in the survey, or whether we just need to use it as an outline and we're not locked into it.
Gary, it is a guide, but can you expand on what exactly you don't agree with in the plan?
They use a couple of examples on how if we convert pasture land over to apartments, what the impact would be. And really, any changes that we're really making them with open lands where there's never been water before, and then putting apartments in. So I thought that example, I didn't understand why. They have a 2022 study that I had trouble with. Page 11, it says the city is confident that they're going to be able to follow this plan. And I'm like, I don't know. If it's a contract that we have to sign off on, I think I'd spend some time tweaking it. Otherwise, I'm not going to go into it in great detail because I just think it's a survey and it's a recommendation, and we don't have to follow it 100%. There was a comment made by the city manager about us using less water last year. This survey also said that we reduced our water between 21 and 23 by 30%. And now they're asking us to drop another 14%, which I think is kind of unusual. And there's nothing included in the survey about the water tank that we have and the amount of storage that's going to be in that water tank and how it's going to impact our need on the district. So, I just don't know how deep I've got to jump into this thing, or if it's just a guideline that we're going to try to follow.
Great point.
Yeah, a good question. I mean, it is considered part of an element of the general plan. So it's not quite like a contract, but we should still be comfortable with the language and the concepts that are discussed in it. So it might be worth taking some of these concerns offline and just fleshing them out a bit to see if we can make a few changes.
I think that,
Okay.
so from my perspective, I would recommend that the council have alignment with the 3 goals. That being the one that Gary mentioned, per capita usage reduction of 14%. And I would, as a reminder to that water usage will be diluted with the Firelight homes, which are going to be using less water just simply due to the nature of the style of housing. The goal number 2 is retain a financially sustainable and well-maintained water system. We have strategic goals that align with that, and enhance and encourage efficient outdoor conservation techniques. So I would say that as long as the council feels comfortable aligning with those 3 goals, that's what I would make the highest priority as part of this conservation plan.
But we have projections out to 2050 on this thing. And it's like, we don't know that reuse water, or the impact that reuse is going to come into play in a couple of years, nor do we know the role that the water tank's going to play. So I don't know how accurate these forecasts are, and without those 2 elements taken into consideration. And that's all I'm saying. If it changes because of these 2 other components, i.e. reuse water in the tank, then fine, it'll change and we'll work around it. But to project something out that we're going to have a drop of 14% and have a projection based upon 2050, I think it's just something that we can't commit to long term. So that's all I'm saying. And if I'll look at it again and see if there's something I need to recommend that we change in the language.
All right, great.
That'd be good.
Any other
How would you like those recommendations?
email or?
Yeah, however those can be communicated.
I'll get them
back to us.
over to Ben.
Perfect.
Yeah, no, I was just curious, Gary, how you were going to do it and how they might want it, because I got some questions too. So, okay.
And we have to remember, this is like Kayla said, this is kind of a guiding, it's not a
Yeah.
hard contract. And as Ben said, we need to keep the three
Sure.
goals in mind.
Sure.
And sometimes we do get bogged down in some of the tiny minutia of things sometimes when the overview is kind of headed in the right direction. So yeah, I'm not saying don't pick it apart, just remember the 3
Yeah,
goals
okay.
we're headed for.
Okay.
So,
Gotcha. Uh-huh.
all right.
What's
That's
the
all I
time
have
frame?
to say.
we're gonna present it in 2 weeks at the next meeting as a public hearing.
I apologize, I misspoke. It would be the first meeting in April
Oh,
in order
okay.
to allow the
Enough.
14-day notice.
Oh,
time.
okay.
Okay.
So we have a month.
Okay.
Well, let's get it done. If we need to talk about it in 2 weeks, we can discuss it again. And
Okay.
Ben, let's do that. Maybe let's put this back on as a discussion item for 2 weeks.
Yeah, we can do that.
So if we have some changes, we can flush them out, and come the next meeting, we'll be done.
Great.
So,
Okay.
all right. Item F5, discuss the possible action on resolution 2025, adopting the fiscal year 25-26 strategic plan. So this is the plan you built with all our information, right?
Yeah, so we took
Right.
I'll just kind of run through this, probably makes the most sense. This is essentially the work product of the 2 work meetings that we had earlier in early February. The first page really just outlines, I don't need to read through all of this because it just kind of is a high level summary of the strategic planning process. And then we define each of those terms. I think it's important to remember the hierarchy of, so, first we have the plan, a statement, goals, objectives, and tasks. And that's essentially high to low. So we're defining each one of those things. Then it provides a general overview of the 5 goals. Then as we scroll to the second page, we have that strategic directive statement that we kind of hammered out in those strategic meetings. What are who we view the city, Toquerville City, as, like how we describe that and what we prioritize. And then we have the 5 goals that we developed, as you guys know. And under each of those goals, we then prioritized objectives to accomplish in this budget year. So July 1st through, July 1st of this year through June 30th of 26, sorry. So all of those are new. Basically, we met as staff and we said, where is the cutoff point? So what we did in the second strategic planning meeting is the city council ranked high to low what possible objectives could be. And we as staff then said, okay, this is the cutoff point. We don't have the capacity to do everything, but we have, so say from managed growth and development, we took the first 5 and cut off everything below number 5. And we did that for each of the goals. We determined what would be able to be accomplished. And that resulted in 20 objectives in total. And you guys are familiar with each of these. And then Mary, if you just scroll down one more page. So then each page, this is the page for each goal. The intention of this document, it's not intended to be prescriptive. This is just a general guide for the city for the next year. I did draft a resolution to go along with this just as a formal document for the city. So this is the public facing document for the goals of the city in the next fiscal year. And then under each objective, we formulated tasks. So we identified the project owner. So if we take 1.1, work with developers to attract desired commercial projects. The project owner, that doesn't mean I'm fully responsible. It just means that I'm the one that owns that objective. The next one is the planning and zoning administrator. And then we develop tasks to accomplish that and the appropriate deadlines for each of those tasks. So this is a document that basically is very public facing. From here, we would build a dashboard that just shows the progress. I think I wanted to make this clear if it wasn't already. I know going into this that we won't accomplish each objective. There are going to be things that we don't anticipate, we don't have the foresight on. If we could accomplish like 80% of these things, I think I'd be really happy with the progress. So these are definitely stretch goals. And we'll be reporting on what's ahead of schedule, what's behind schedule, and the reasons for that. So hopefully, we'll probably do quarterly reporting on the strategic objectives throughout the next year. And yeah, that's the document. So happy to answer
I think
questions.
It's clear. It's very well put together. Everything I like it. I really like it. This is good direction. This lets the citizens of the city know which direction we're going, what our goals are, and what we're doing. I think this is outstanding.
Yeah.
You guys got any questions?
I would second that. Yeah, and I told Ben that when we met. Yeah, this is awesome. So
Yeah,
putting
this
this all
is-
together.
The amount of information that's in this little document, it's impressive. I really, really like it. Don't tell Ben that, but it's pretty nice.
Well, one of the good points about this is the artistic information that goes into it. I've done a lot of outlines and bullet point presentations and so forth that have essentially the same type of information for the different projects. But this one grabs your eye, so it pulls you into looking at what's here and not just going, no, another old document and throwing it away.
Yeah, it's not pie charts or graphs or something. This is, I like it. And the colors and everything, I think it's.
How will this be available to the public?
We'll print a few copies. I mean, just
Okay.
have
Are
them.
you gonna
have them
put it on the
available to
website?
Yep.
It will be on the
on
website also.
Yep.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah, so I was hoping it would be on the website.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Now,
Aaron,
quick
you got
question,
anything?
Ben, what is the benefit of creating a resolution and attaching this to a resolution?
Yeah, the reason that I went that direction is simply because of the formality of it, because this is the first stage in the budget process, right? So this sets the direction for the city council for the entire year. And so it's just simply due to the importance of it. I know that historically, as I look at historical resolutions that the city's adopted, they typically follow the same pattern every year. Everything that's required to be done by resolution, we do by resolution. This just basically says this is the priority and trajectory of the city for the next year. And it just makes it it's just the formality of it. That's the reason that we put it in that format.
I like the fact that it's in a resolution that we're basically saying, this is what we're going to do. We're not going to deviate from this plan because we put it in a resolution. It's just not an idea. It's not maybe we'll get to it. This is actually our resolution. This is what we're going to do for the next year. And this is what our priorities are.
Yeah.
That's what I like about the resolution part of it.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
More punch that way.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like how you have, we're gonna assess and evaluate as we're moving along and where we're at. That's great too, so we can be updated.
That's the great thing about a plan. You make the best plan in the world, but until you start
Right.
implementing the plan, it's just an idea. Once you start putting who knows what's going to come up? We just don't know what we don't know. And we can plan all day, and we've done a great job. The city staff has done an amazing job. It took our ramblings from our meeting and turned it into this. This is great.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
yeah. Anyways, any other questions?
We were rambling.
I ramble. I know that. So you guys are pretty much on task. So.
I just want to say thank you because I'm very impressed with that direction that we're moving with it. I really am.
Yeah.
And the most thing I'm impressed is that we can all sit here and talk as a group, but when you hand this to a citizen and the citizens can see it and understand, that's really important. I think it's really, really great document.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
I second the mayor's comments. Thank you, Ben.
Hey, Gary doesn't always, not very often agree with me. So this is good. All right. Well, I need a motion.
Mayor, I'd make a motion to adopt the how do you want me to say that?
Fiscal year.
Fiscal year
Yeah.
2025 to 26 strategic plan. And you want me to say the resolution? Yeah, resolution.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this item?
Sorry, that was a mumbled jumble.
That's okay.
mess of
It was good
emotion.
rambling. It was good.
Got
We
it.
know what it is. Mary's got to figure it out. All right, all in favor?
This one will need to be a roll call vote to
All this
conflict
is,
resolution.
yeah, there's a little bit of money. But there's not, that's debatable. Okay,
The format at the bottom contemplates a roll call vote and it should be a roll.
we'll go ahead and roll call this one. Gary,
Aye.
Joey,
Aye.
Aye.
all in favor? All right, we are going to move on to item F6. Discussing possible action on interlocal revenue pledge agreement with the Washington County Sheriff Office for the Washington County Drug Task Force. This is something we've done in the past. This is a $10,000 we basically give to the Washington County Sheriffs to help with their drug task force. They've been doing some good stuff with it. The sheriff called me the other day and thanked us very much for helping them out. It goes along. It's not a lot of money for them, but it's quite a bit of money for us, but it does help them quite a bit. Ben, anything you want to add to this?
No, I think you covered it.
Okay. Anyways, any questions on this item?
As bad as I.
When it says county, I'm assuming that we're not donating the same amount that St. George is putting in, are we?
That's correct. Most drug task forces they contribute officers and equipment and time. Where the Tokerville doesn't have a police department, we're not able to contribute an officer, and so we contribute to the sheriff's office portion of that. So St. George may contribute. I don't know exactly how many officers. One, maybe two officers to the program, and that's what they do full time.
Okay,
So.
all right, thank you.
All right, I need a motion.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the interlocal agreement between Washington County Sheriff's Office and Tokerville City for the Drug Task Force Program.
All right. We have a motion, a second, and this is funds. So Gary, we'll start with you and then go to Chuck.
Aye.
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 Motion carries. All right, we have not doing number 7 because Kayla's gone, but which is, I'm not going to complain. We're moving right along. Calendar of events. We have our community readiness meeting Thursday, March 13th here at Town Hall. We have our Easter egg hunt coming up on Saturday, April 12th, Center Street at 10 a.m. Anybody know of anything else that? All right, we have no need for a closed session that I'm aware of. Okay, I need a motion to adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Motion, meeting is adjourned at 6:52.
Mother of pearl, how did we do that?